Hello and welcome to episode 9 now of the Healthy Business Leader Show. So those of you that haven't checked out the podcast before, we like to meet incredible, inspiring business leaders, people like Eric, who's joining me today to talk about business and their journey and all the interesting stuff around health and fitness. So today I'm joined by Eric Rozenberg, who is an author, he's an entrepreneur, and in his own words, he builds businesses. So I'd love to kind of hand it over to him and for him to do a bit of a deeper kind of introduction to yourself and what you do.
Thank you, Cameron. Thank you for having me. So the accent is from Belgium. I live in South Florida. When I say I'm from South Florida, people go, yeah, but before. So that's it. Moved to the US 10 years ago. I'm an entrepreneur. I've always been in businesses, loving to build businesses and helping people build their own business. I had a corporate events agency in Brussels for 20 years and organized incentive trip, product launch, sales meeting, trade show in over 50 countries in the world. Then the last years I have opened a SaaS company, software as a service, which is a ticketing platform using blockchain. And I opened the US and Latin American market. And I'm now helping different people in the meetings and event industry to build their own business and also looking to acquire a small business. So most importantly, I have the great pleasure with my wife to have 3 amazing daughters. I think that's about it.
Fantastic. Now you see why I let you do the introduction, because you've got the information, right? You did a much better job than me. I appreciate that. So let's, you kind of mentioned a bit about what you do in the events and meeting space industry. So tell us a bit more about kind of what you do on a day-to-day basis now compared to what you did, 5-10 years ago. How's that changed for you?
Right. So 5-10 years ago, I was I was dealing with volcano eruption in Iceland, with strike with airlines. So, when you are planning meetings, as Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until they got punched in the face. Yeah. And in 20 plus years in the industry, I've never, ever had one project that was executed exactly 100% the way it was planned. So you have to be able to react. It's extremely stressful. It's also a kind of adrenaline shot that you're getting with that. And I enjoy doing it. Now what I'm doing is, because obviously I understand what it takes to do this business, but also because I've built several businesses and I love helping people. It's more on the coaching aspect, mentoring aspect. I have a small group of people that I'm helping. They have full access to me, actually through Voxer in asynchronous manner. And I'm sharing my experience, my network, and helping them grow. That's part of what I do. And the other part is looking to acquire small business, because there's a lot of small business here to be acquired. So it's a full-time job.
So the obvious question is then, which part, maybe you can't answer this, which part of your business journey have you kind of enjoyed the most? It's obviously quite different, right? What you used to do to what you do now, the coaching element. But did you enjoy one part more than the other, or is it very similar?
It's a great question. I think, Cameron, the main thing for me is people. It's working with people, it's building teams, and it's taking care of people. When you have 5,000 people that are coming for an annual conference and need to be taken care of, motivated, have unique experiences, it's fun. The A-Team, the TV show, and it goes... Yeah. I like when my plan comes together. That's what I like.
Rubbing your hands.
Yeah, exactly. And then with a cigar. And But it's really, and for me, the most important is dealing with people. That's what I enjoy the most.
Okay. So when you say dealing with people, would you say that your skill set lies in kind of the organizational side of people, the motivational side, or kind of a little bit of both? Where does that lie?
My skills are really building teams. Thinking about strategy and designing a plan of operation, and then supporting people. And anybody I've worked with know that I always have their back. As long as there's obviously trust, trust, that means integrity and telling it the way it is. If you're responsible for something, just acknowledge it. Yeah. That's really what I'm good at. I can do operation, but I'm not the right person to do operation on a daily basis. So when I've been the most successful is when I was in a team with somebody else who was really the person doing the operation. And I've learned about, I've learned about delegation. I've learned about trusting people. I've learned about building teams, and that's the skills I'm using to help now other people.
Okay. And what I love to do, because many of our clients are CEOs, they're managing directors, and they've been through the ups and downs of business. They've seen, as you said, the Icelandic issues and crashes in the market, etc. So, what I'd love to do is ask questions based on your experience, just to, on a selfish point of view, trying to extract some information, right, for my benefit and for the audience's benefit, right? So if you could kind of give us a couple of lessons that you've learned in your business career that have really stuck with you, what would they be?
Wow, a couple of lessons. The first one, alone you can do nothing. So that means building a great team with people that are better than you at what they do. That's extremely important. The second one is putting processes in place. As much as I'm a rebel, I don't like the authority of the structure, but guess what? You need it. You need a framework to operate with that. And the third main lesson for me is, again, nothing is set in stone. Things can change. And so the better the plan and the team you have to execute the plan, the better you will be able to react when inevitably something is going to happen.
Right. Is it kind of that hope for the best, expect the worst, right? Is that kind of making sure you've got something in place that if there's going to be a plan B and C, right?
It is that. It really comes down to that. I always have a quote that I really like is lead, follow, or get out of the way. And so based on that and based on the situation, that's something I always coming back to. But the plan, it's never, whatever is happening, it's always something that is going to be changing.
Yeah.
Whatever the plan. Yeah. And so if you're in a panic mode, nothing's gonna happen. If you consider, okay, these are the new data, this is the new data that I have to take into consideration, what I'm gonna do, react and don't stay there. Or the opposite is the analysis paralysis, where you spend, and I'm very good at that. I have to cue myself all the time because I like to think, I like to discuss, I like to read, I like to learn. But at the end of the day, you also have to execute.
Yeah. Is that kind of an analytical to gut, right? It's a go with the gut, the instinct kind of thing, or using the analysis, the data to go, what's the next step? I think, I've never worked within a corporate organization, so it's difficult for me to kind of, understand how that works. But I speak to lots of people that are leaders within their industry, whether it's finance or tech or whatever it is. And, the best among them, they talk about this, the leadership element of it, understanding what the next step is. And it kind of leads me really neatly into the next part of the conversation, which is about leadership and inspiration. So we deal with a lot of, as I said, upper business echelon. So CEOs, kind of head of the businesses, right? The business owner. And kind of a big part of our message is a healthy business community, a global business community, a healthy business community. And the reason we say that is because we've seen in our experience, and the more people we talk to that know the science, PhDs in this area, it's a top-down approach. So leads me on to my next question, if you look at yourself as the leader, okay, and you're getting yourself into shape, you're fit, you're healthy, and I know you've been on a journey yourself, which kind of leads us into this, right? But how do you feel about that kind of health element of leadership? Have you thought much about that, or?
Well, I would link it. Listening to your question, Cameron, I would link it to the mental health as well. It's part of it. This is something that 2-3 years ago was taboo. You cannot talk about it. As a leader, you have to be strong. I mean, come on, nobody's a machine, and you have days that are not as good as the others. And what do you do in that case? So when you're talking about your health, when you're talking about your energy, when you're talking about that leadership, it is part of being a leader, but it's part of being a human being.
Yeah.
You don't need to be a CEO to think about what your health should be. And being a leader and being a CEO means that you have more responsibilities and you have people for whom you are responsible.
Yeah.
So there's a balance between leading the way, and God knows that I've been doing yo-yo with my weight for years, until finally starting now to get it the right way, in a sustainable way. But it's also taking care of the others and creating the environment where people can take care of themselves and have the time to do that, and being recognized. So it's part of being human, and leadership is a great word, but it's become sometimes a buzzword for everything and anything. Being a leader is taking care of yourself, but also taking care of the others. That's how I look at it.
Absolutely. So again, let's segue into your personal health and fitness journey. So you mentioned that you've kind of yo-yo with your weight a little bit. I know that you're really on the cusp of something quite special with your transformation. So tell us a bit about kind of your journey through, not in being a good place with your health into where you are now, and also specifically talk to us about the protocols you're following, if you're okay with sharing that. If that's cool.
Sure. I always say that I've lost so much weight in my life that I don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
I've been up and down with a magnitude which is insane. And I always say that I didn't become fat overnight. So you have to react about that. And, things always happen when they have to. And so last year, I was at the beginning of this year, I was at a conference with about 120 entrepreneurs. And a friend of mine was explaining to me his journey with peptide. And I went like, what is that? Because I don't do anything. I don't take anything ever. And so I started talking with him, explaining to me what of the issue he had with guts and stomach and how it was cured, and has also benefit in terms of weight. And so for me, it's the mental aspect where you decide to do it, but also leveraging what's available. So the mental aspect, 3 years ago, I did 75 hard. For a year, I complete the entire cycle. Did the 75 days, and then I did the 3 phase of 30 days, and the 5 minutes cold shower and everything. And that's the mental toughness. But when you have tools at your disposal, I say, okay, why not? So I start inquiring about that and talking with him and the clinic and the group of doctors, nutritionists, health coach that he's working with. And I started this journey with peptide, which in the meantime, some of those peptides have become extremely popular with dramatic results. I'm doing that with it's a regular blood test, and I have different coaches in the group. And it's also something that, the dose are very well monitored and telling you exactly what you need to take, and nutritional supplement. And again, I think what's the most important is that you have regular blood tests that are validating what is going on. And so far, it's been working extremely well. I'm very happy, but I'm on a journey, so it's not done yet. The other thing is there's so many discoveries that we don't know about. And being from Belgium, I know it's very conservative, and here in the US, it's very innovative. And so I was very concerned at the beginning. So what is it? But at the end of the day, when you have people that you trust that are telling you, well, this is what I'm doing and it's working, say, okay, I'm not going to be more stupid than anybody else, and let's do it.
So what kind of changes have you seen? What kind of benefits have you experienced?
Weight loss for sure. More energy, more focus. So that's me. That's a lot.
Yeah. It's brilliant. Yeah. And
Yes.
do you feel, we used to have a thing of, our programs would help people to feel 10 years younger. Do you feel younger?
In my mind, I've always been immature, so I feel very young. But yeah, it's when you talk about energy coming back, when you talk about focus, I never felt old or young. It's not a question for me at age, but more of a state of mind. And yes, I feel much more energized now, and I know that I'm far from where I could be.
Yeah.
So that's the journey. But the opportunity to learn about this and to do the work is just amazing. One without the other doesn't work. So you can come with peptide, it's great, peptide, wonderful. If you don't pay attention of what you eat and how you eat, if you don't train on a regular basis, it's not going to work. I'm not going to tell you that,
Yeah.
And if you have the opportunity like we have here to support the process, then I'm very happy to do it.
Yeah, I mean, they're not available in the UK at the moment, but I think another example would be whey protein, for example. People look at whey protein or a multivitamin and think that's the place to go to. So, well, hold on, whoa, let's get you to actually work out regularly. Let's get you to actually eat properly. Let's get you to, heaven forbid, get a decent night's sleep, and then we can talk about supplementation. I think I wrote an article this morning about it, and it's everyone's after the quick fix, the thing that makes the change instantly. And as you know, even using peptides, it helps, but it's not going to make things happen overnight. And testament to what you just said, which is, for those who don't know, the 75 hard is 75 days of continual exercise without a break. And this dude went on and did 365 days, which is pretty insane, man. So when you did that, when you got to 75, kind of, did you feel impressed, or was you kind of shocked that you did it, or did you just know you were going to do it and then you knew to go to the next part? How was that?
I'm very stubborn and I never give up. So when I start, the day I start, I actually twist my foot.
Right, day one.
Yep. Nothing was broken, and I said, I don't care, I'm doing it. And I start walking very slowly, but I was walking, and it started raining. But in Florida, I can rain very hard.
Yeah.
And I went like, bring it on.
Took your clothes off and just walking through the rain.
No, not that far, but yeah, mentally, yeah, absolutely. And again, that is a mental toughness thing before anything else. So when I reach almost the 50th day, I think about the last leg of those first 75 days, I learned there was actually 3 other phases, and I was like, oh my God. And then I learned that in what they call phase 1, which is after the 75 days, you have to incorporate. So basically, for those who don't know what it is, you have to do 10 things every day. And if you miss one of those 10 things one day, you're back to 0 and start again. But then I'm approaching the end of the 75 first days, and I learned that the next phase, you have to incorporate a 5 minutes cold shower. And I know it's very fashionable, the cold plunge, the Wim Hof breathing, that fine. I'm always looking at people and said, why you do that? And I'm thinking, nah, 5 minutes cold shower, not for me. And of course you get in the game. So I reached out to a friend who's done it before me and said, how did you do it? Did you like this technique of breathing? I said, nope. I opened the cold shower and get into it. I said, okay. And I find out, little hack, that in the movie Iron Man 2, the song Thunderstruck from AC/DC lasts 4 minutes and 57 seconds.
Okay, right.
And so I put the music on, I went in the shower, cold shower, and I was like, and the kids were, what's going on? And my wife said, it's okay, Dad is doing his thing. No, don't worry.
Do their guitar. Oh, brilliant. So when did you do that every day now then, or is that a weekly thing? Or
no, now what I do is basically I open the shower and I get into it immediately, and I wait about probably a minute. Don't do 5 minutes because I'm always in a rush, but I haven't done the cold plunge yet because I have too many friends that are doing it, but let them do it. But I know now, in all seriousness, in the program, besides the peptide, is going to sleep early, at least getting enough sleep, is eating well, is exercising, and they are telling you as well. It's part of. Apparently, it's good for the body. You can explain that better than I do. To have this cold shower, which is apparently doing good as well. It's all those elements. And I also started over a month ago doing intermittent fasting, and with my lifestyle. And so basically, I try to eat as early as possible in the evening, and then I don't eat anything before lunch the next day, and it's
It works really well for busy people because you can kind of get up, have a coffee, go to the gym or do your workout or do work. And you haven't got to eat till lunchtime. It just works really well for that rhythm.
I'm having coffee. I'm having water. I'm drinking a lot of water as well. I'm trying to do that, and not eating anything before noon. Actually, when you get into doing some exercise in the morning and then working, sometimes around 11:30, I feel like, okay, how many hours has it been since last night? And
Starving.
then, forget about it. Go back to work and then wait until lunch.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't let you go because I know we're kind of, having a brief chat today, but I couldn't let you go without talking about the books that I can see behind you. Obviously, you've got a very good collection of books behind you. I can't make out all the names, but tell us a bit about, the books that you've written, the book that you're kind of, you've just recently written. Tell us a bit about that.
A great question, Cameron. Thank you. I love reading, so I'm reading a lot. In 2016, I believe, I wrote the first book called Meeting at Sea Level, which is basically aligning face-to-face meeting with strategy.
Do you want to show us? Can we have a little look at the front cover? This bad boy. That's it.
Yeah.
Cool. Can people pick that up on Amazon? Is that an Amazon one?
Yes, it's on Amazon.
Cool.
And then this is really how you position yourself as a strategic partner in the meetings and event industry, more than just being a logistical person, and how you build your business. That was the book. And then last year I published this one, which is called Before It's Too Late, a love letters to my daughter in America.
Cool.
That is, it's a legacy project. Is why we left Belgium and Europe with the rise of Islamism and anti-Semitism. What happened there in Belgium for the last 40 or 50 years, which unfortunately is exactly the, how do I put this? The explanation, the framework of what's going on today with the people from the terrorists that are massacring Israelis and Jews. But what happened in Belgium the last 40, 50 years, which become institutionalized, and why we left. So I wanted my daughters to understand why we took them from seeing their 4 grandparents every week and a very easy lifestyle in Brussels, and why we came to America. And also I wanted to document that. So there's about 175 links and reference at the end that explain everything I'm saying. And I always say to people, facts don't care about your feelings. And don't believe what I'm saying, just check it. And in the meantime, in the process, doing this legacy, because I want this to be a legacy for my daughters and the next generation and my family, I realized, speaking with some friends, that they had no idea. And so after speaking with several of my friends, I decided to publish the book. It's been a labor of love, something that I'm very proud of. And it's also my way of standing up and saying enough of the political correctness, enough of the bullshit, enough of what's going on. Stand up, forget about those lies, and expose what is really going on. That's why it's so very well documented. But it's I can speak for hours about that, as you can tell. I don't want to bore your listener about that, but that's a very important work and legacy book that I did for my daughters, and which is on Amazon as well, or on Audible for those who don't have the patience to read.
I'm a stickler for Audible because I can kind of do it in between jobs. You can do when you're walking home. I find it really helpful, actually. So if we were to kind of we can stick the links below this video for both the books. That'll be okay, yeah?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah? Thank you.
Brilliant. Yeah. Cool.
Again, I'm not doing that to sell books. I'm doing that to inform people. It is not my job. It is not my work. But it is very important, obviously. Yeah. It's for anything. I believe that people need to stand up for what they believe in and stand up for their values. And if you don't stand up for that, then it's always the the dark side that is taking over.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be people interested in reading it that may be watching this today within our community. So it'd be cool to make it easy for them to buy it. I'll get myself a copy. So it's on Audible, which is great. So maybe I can check it out on there, make my life a bit easier.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got 2 young babies, so when you eventually kind of put them to bed and you've had dinner and it's time to go to bed, you're kind of ready for the bed. It's like during the day for all of them. You remember the days, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I paid a lot of attention to when I recorded with the sound engineer. I said, every time I say a word that you're not sure what I say, stop me. Because with my accent, obviously, sometimes people say, what did you say exactly? So it took me ages to record it. But those who have listened to it said that you can even listen at the 1.5. 2 is a little fast, but 1.5 will do.
Yes, yeah, I'm a 1.2 or 1.5. Yeah, I think 2 is sounds like a chipmunk, right? You can't hear anything. Right. So do you narrated both books as well then on Audible?
No, only before it's too late.
Okay. How was that experience? Was it difficult, challenging, or was it easy?
To write it or to record
to narrate it?
Yeah, it. I remember some moment the sound engineer stopped and said, "Whoa," because he was on the other side of the window in the studio, and he was like, it was hard at some moment, and it's also. Yeah, the reason I recorded, I'm going to tell you, it's kind of a funny story. I was speaking with a friend and I said, I wonder if I should really record it myself with my voice and especially my accent. And he looked at me and goes, I thought it was a legacy project. Okay, end of conversation. Thank you very much. I'll record it myself.
I think, if I can't comment on your book because it's obviously there's a lot of emotional ties and your personal kind of story, right? But I mean, when I do read books, even if they're business books, I think they have much more gravitas if it's the person reading it because they wrote the words, right? And they can read it in the way that it should be articulated. I think if you get an actor or someone else to do it, sometimes that's lost a little bit. So yeah, I think I always prefer it.
Yeah, I always do as well. Although when you were saying that, I was thinking of one book that I listened to on Audible. Is the book Life, the autobiography of Keith Richards.
Okay.
And it's narrated by Johnny Depp.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That made sense. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Is he Captain Jack Sparrow in it when he's doing it?
It's phenomenal. It's really phenomenal.
Yeah. There's certain people, I suppose, that would really fit that character. I mean, I know Stephen Fry does a lot of books, and his voice, he's such a great, engaging voice. He can kind of do anything, but the Keith Richards and Johnny Depp makes a lot of sense. I get that. Well, let's wrap it up, Eric. It's been great to chat to you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing the lessons that you did today. And like I say, it'd be great to share the links for your books underneath the video as well.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for having me. If anybody want to connect with me, LinkedIn is always the best.
Yeah, and I messaged Eric and he came back pretty quick. So he's a very open and I'm the same. I like to just chat to people on LinkedIn. It's kind of, I think too many people use it as just a connection place rather than using it as actually building relationships. And actually, I've had 2 people tell me over the last 2 months that this is a professional business platform, and I shouldn't be reaching out to people to have chats, which kind of blew my mind because it's called social. It's a social platform, which this is what social is. It's talking.
And you will always have people telling you don't do this, don't do that. I always believe that from the moment that you are respectful of others, just do your research, look at the data, and then follow your gut.
Yeah, and my adage is kind of if you don't ask, you don't get. And the more people you ask, the more will say yes.
That's true as well. And in the meantime, I would say keep doing what you're doing and training people and coaching people for their fitness and their health. Because obviously there's nothing more important. And I get the older you get, the more you realize that. And hopefully you'll realize that before it's too late.
You've literally just done my tagline for me, so I appreciate that. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate your time, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you.